Hello everyone, I hope you all are doing well. Let me introduce myself. I am Umkar Shinde, your host for this particular interview. I want to welcome you all to the 10th episode of interview series brought to you by Industry Inspire Talk. Talking about interview series, it is a series where we invite people who have interned at companies and converted that internship opportunity into a full-time offer. Our guest for today's interview is Arpan Bhowmik. He recently interned with Samsung for 2 months and also got a pre-placement offer from them. So the whole interview is all going to be about Arpan's journey as a college student to doing a lot of internships, contributing towards the society, helping the community, to getting that internship opportunity to work for Samsung, and finally getting placed as a full-time senior engineer for them. So the whole video is going to be interesting. Make sure to stick around. I hope that you learn something out of this video, which will help you in your specific career as well. So without wasting further time, let's proceed towards the interview. Hello, Arpan, and welcome to the 10th episode of interview series brought to you by Industry Inspire Talk. How are you feeling right now?
Yeah, I'm great. These are such tough times. I hope you're safe. Everyone is safe right now. That's the primary concern right now. So, yeah, doing well.
Yeah, that's great. So, I want to first ask you, tell me something about yourself. Let our audience know what you are doing currently.
So hello everyone. I am Arpan Bhowmik. I come from a city, Kolkata, from West Bengal. I completed my secondary education from WWA Kashipur English School in 2016. In the same year, I sat for the West Bengal Joint Entrance Examination, and I joined the Electronics and Telecommunication Engineering Department of Jadavpur University. I graduated this year, 2020, and I have joined Samsung Semiconductor India R&D, Bangalore, as a senior engineer, and I'm currently working here as a employee.
That's
So
amazing.
apart from
Yeah.
my,
Yeah.
thank you. Apart from my, academic stories, I am a huge football fan. Weekends, it's like the entire day is covered following football matches and then going into online forums like Reddit and discussing the results with other fans from across the globe. We have like full squads to play. I am a huge CSGO player. I love that game. So these are kind of like my hobbies.
That's great. Okay, so now I would like to go to the college life. Okay, so you told me you're pursuing electronics and telecommunication engineering from Jadavpur University. So I want to ask you, like, can you describe your college life?
So first of all, like in one word, it would be awesome. Like so, let me break it down. Like so, first year it's a huge jump, right? From your school life to a college life for anybody, it's a huge jump. And so first year was like exploring the campus, making new friends, and also getting to know about my field, what are the subjects that I'll be studying. And from there, starting from the second year, third year, fourth year, it's mainly been like getting deep into my respective field of electronics, and exploring the research trends in my field, preparing myself for this job interviews, and doing the internships. So in a single, I don't think I can explain it in a single word just how good my college life has been. But yeah, like a huge part of what I am today is down to my friends, my professors, and my seniors, everyone who has helped me in this past 4 years. And but the downside is that this last few months, like which was supposed to be the most memorable part of the college, the farewells, the goodbyes, that has been like a complete haywire. It was just a hush, like a hurried goodbye to everyone over an online call, and then college life ended. So that was pretty sad.
Yeah, bro, I can totally understand you because times are tough right now. It's been like 6 to 7 months we are in this situation, and we can't also help it because it is a global scenario, and it's okay. It's times, like there are times where you have to say goodbyes over call and everything. Like there are lot of times that come, okay, but these times will go, and that's important. Okay, you will get to meet your friends even after this pandemic is over. Okay, you guys can have your own farewell. Your own farewell you guys can have, and you can celebrate it the way you wanted that time. So that is possible, but right now we have to stick to the situation and just wait for it to get over. That's it. That is all we can do.
We're all hoping there has to be like one final get together and one final goodbye, because this 4 years was like the best 4 years of my life, pretty much, hands down.
That's great. So you had a wonderful college life. Okay, so that's really nice. And right now I want to go to the EXTC field question. Okay, so I want to ask you, describe your passion towards EXTC field. Why did you think of taking an EXTC field?
So this the story actually begins in my school, So in my 11th and 12th standard, my favorite subject was maths and physics. Okay, this was like I really loved these two subjects, and we had one chapter in physics which was based on semiconductors. Okay, so before that I knew what semiconductors were, but formally we did not have any courses on semiconductor in school level, right? So we had that course in our physics classes on semiconductors, and it was like an instant falling in love scenario. Like I really enjoyed the concept of semiconductors, and as I delved deeper into the subject, I realized that this feels like my jam, and I would like to learn more about it. And apart from this, I had computer science as my subject. I'll come to that. Coding was also a huge part of my life. In computer science, we also had a topic on digital gates, the AND gates, OR gates, right? So that was a very basic course, right? But the teacher I had in school, he was very enthusiastic. He taught us, about digital gates, and also taught us about extra, let's say, like flip-flop memories, how they are used. That was not part of our syllabus, right? But it gave us a whole new perspective on, how these things are going to be used, are not going to be, are used in our electronics. And growing up, from let's say 2010 onwards, I grew up, I witnessed the the semiconductor industry boom, starting with those small black and white phones. Right now, everyone has a smartphone. So it was an inspiring, industry jump. So I was really interested to get into the heart of this industry and look for myself how things work, if I will be able to contribute in this fascinating industry. And regarding telecommunications, ever since I started using mobile phones, the internet, it's always been like a curiosity how things work. So I would say it's like the curiosity that drove me to choose this subject.
Marvel, yeah, thanks for sharing that. Yeah. So I would just like you mentioned, you had love for EXTC and the branch basically. So why did you take it and everything? So now you also told that you were into coding, you were much into the computer science thing as well. Okay, so I want to ask you, do you love computer science and coding?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that's great. If that's a yes, you have to tell me why do you love it?
Yeah, so like the previous one, this story also begins in my school life, like many other things. So I was introduced to coding, I believe it was in 7th standard. We had a full course on basic. Yeah, it was basic. So the concept just blew me, like telling a computer to do whatever you want. It's like, you're almost like a mad scientist. The imagination is your only limit, right? So the first 2 years were, learning the basic concepts of programming. Once I was decently competent in coding. Let's say around my ninth and 10th standard. In my school, we used to have exhibitions like science fairs, right? So where we could showcase our project or anything that we have worked on during the school year. So what I did, so during that time, AI was just coming up, right? This is like around 2011, 12. It was still in the nascent stage, not huge and mainstream like today. It was just coming up. So I did not have any knowledge of how AI works. Obviously, in ninth standard, you're not supposed to have such knowledge. So I thought, okay, I'll just make a simple project. I'm going to make a chatbot. It's basically a computer assistant where you can talk to that program like a human interaction. Okay, so I had no idea about AI. I had no background or necessary courses in AI. So I just used, my imagination. I like created an entire database of possible sentences that people might ask that software agent, and using probabilities, string matching, I designed the proper responses. Now, this took me, like, the idea was there during my ninth standard, but it took me around like 2 years. Like ninth, 10th standard is supposed to work for your board exams. I could not be neglecting that, right? So it took me around 2 years, but I finally did it and developed. It was pretty like bad, but it was for me it was a good experience, and I showcased it at my science fair, and that experience is what like uh, you know my cornerstone or my foundation of my passion for coding. And apart from that, I also wrote a few programs for encryption, decryption, which were also showcased in my science fair. So this is how my passion for coding developed.
That's great. Okay, so yeah, so that is, you had passion for EXTC, you had passion for computer science, you were good at maths and physics. Okay, so that like really gives you the way key, this is what you want to pursue. Okay, so you actually had interest from the beginning, and that's the reason why you pursued them. You followed that track because you knew you would do well in that, and that's
Yes, I think that's very important. Like many a times, I'm sure you might have heard that a person was forced into a branch of study he did not have interest in, but just because his parents or family pressured him or her to study that. So I'm lucky that I did not face any such pressure. My parents always told me, like, whatever you're interested in, we'll support you. So I just followed my passion.
Yeah, peer pressure is really not a
Yes.
good thing. Okay, and those like that are developed by the parents basically, and the parents should stop doing that and tell the kid to follow what he wants to follow, what he loves to do.
Yes.
Okay, so then and only then he'll be successful in that field. Okay, so it's very important to follow your passion, to follow what you love, do what you love, and that's what you did, and that is really great. And so far the interview is really, like, I'm really enjoying the interview. Slowly and steadily, and also learning a lot of new things about you. Okay, so that's great. Okay, so we'll proceed with the interview. Okay, so I want to ask you. You told me you were like passionate towards computer science and also the EXTC branch. So I want to ask you, did you build any technical projects in your engineering career?
So I actually worked on one proper project, which was my senior year project. So basically, in my university, in final year, we have to submit one project, which is I believe, it was 6 credit points for our overall grade. So for that, me and my batchmate, we were together in that project. We worked under Professor Dr. Ananda Shankar Chaudhuri. He was a wonderful professor. We basically worked on a project on person re-identification. It was a year-long project. It was basically me and my batchmate, the professor, and his PhD student. 4 of us. It was a joint project, and It was submitted as a paper at ICIP 2020. This month it will be published.
That's amazing.
So
Okay.
that
Yeah.
was a huge experience because uh, it was a year-long project, right? So it was a step-by-step process. So, for example, the first few months, it was discussing about what would be our project, how will we approach it. Then the rest of the months, it was working, and at the end, it was the experiments. If there were any issues we were facing, how could we rectify those issues? So it was a wonderful experience.
That's nice. Okay, that's amazing. Yeah. So yes. So you did only one project, but you make sure that you explored a lot in it. Okay. So you told me that
Exactly.
people usually do projects for like 1 or 2 months. They do like they develop an app or they develop a website. Okay, that's the project they do. But you actually like went into a part in technology where you wanted to discover that, and that was a new thing, and that's the reason why your paper is going to be published this year. So you did
Exactly.
something like out of the way, okay, and that's really inspiring. Okay, one should do that. Okay, so like he also has to have some experience working for a community, for a technical club, but he should also just like you did one project and you published his paper. Okay, so paper publications are also hold a value in your career because these are the things which you have done out of the way and which are unique from the others, and that's the reason why the article is published. Okay, and that's inspiring. Okay, that's motivating. Then you had a lot of I think I went through your LinkedIn profile, so you had a lot of certifications which you did. Okay, and that's a good thing. Okay, in this lockdown even I have done certifications because Coursera was giving a lot of certifications, so people were very much enthusiastic, they were very much dedicated towards it, and they were following it. So my next question is related to that. I want to ask you, does certificates from online courses hold any value in the job market? What's your opinion on that?
So yes and no. First of all, these online platforms are hugely beneficial, right? If you want, you can learn literally anything and everything you want. But I would say that from a job perspective, merely you are learning a new skill. That's very essential. But it's my personal opinion that just learning is not enough. I would be much more impressed if you learn that skill and apply it to any project. It doesn't have to be a big project or an eye-catching project. Just it will be your self project as well. But it's to make sure that whatever you have learned, you are applying it in a project, and that for me is much more important than merely acquiring a skill. Applying the said skill in a real life scenario.
That's a very good point, Arpan. That's a very good point. Okay, so yeah, so it's important to implement what you learn. Okay, it's not like you are just continuously learning things. You are just theoretically memorizing those things and not know how to implement it in real. So that is a very good point, and one must do that. Okay, and according to your opinion, it's for the job market you need to have experience. Okay, knowledge is one thing. You need to apply it in the industry, so that's what you need. That is a skill which you need, and you can develop it by like doing such online courses. Okay, but it's also important to, like, after you do one online course, for example you do a Python course, you build a project on Python. Okay, so
Exactly.
it's the methodology one should follow. Yeah, that's great. Okay, so yeah, so that's nice. So I would like to jump to the experience part. Okay, so there were a lot of experiences on your LinkedIn profile. So I want to ask you, I want to go to the first experience. I want to ask you, describe your experience as a contributing writer for Quora. And you did it for 3 years, I guess.
Yeah, it's basically just signing up for Quora, the website. It's a pretty simple procedure to sign up, nothing too complicated. It's just a online forum website where people ask questions, and based on your expertise, let's say if I have a question on programming, people who are expert in programming will be able to answer my question. So I did it, I believe, during 2016. I did it because I had just joined the university after completing my exams. So I was eager to, like this interview, I was also eager to share my experience to the upcoming batches, how to prepare, what to expect, do's and don'ts of the stuff, etc.
That's great. So you like by contributing to the Quora, you are also contributing to the Quora community. Like you are like helping
Exactly.
the tech, you are solving the doubts which were in the tech part. Okay, so you are doing that. So you did that for 3 years. Okay, so you are also into helping a lot of people. You also wanted to like just like you said, you are very much eager to be interviewed on this platform. You are very much like into helping people. Basically, you had a very helping nature. You also had you also had the skill to grasp a lot of things, do a lot of like explore a lot of technologies, but you also had that like that person in you who wants to help, because you know a lot of seniors. I've seen a lot of seniors, like not apart from the ones like who are just like you, but there are seniors who doesn't help the what you can say the juniors, or like take them on a wrong track. Okay, so there are a lot of people who influence, and I must say that your juniors are very lucky enough to have a senior like you who is there to help them, and who is like right now helping them. Okay, and that's a really good thing. So you are also good as a person, and that's nice. Okay, so that's very very good. Okay, so that's nice. So I want to jump to the next experience. I want to ask you, describe your experience working as a mentor for CodeClub Jadavpur University.
Yeah, so CodeClub was a student club in our university. It basically aimed to foster the coding culture in our campus. So I joined in my first year. I joined just to learn because there were many people who were my seniors from other batches, both from ETC and CSC, who came and gave shared their experiences in the club, how to prepare for interviews, job interviews, how to solve programming challenges, etc. So first year it was a learning experience. I joined the club and I learned from my seniors how to solve programming challenges, how to prepare for interviews. And when my seniors passed out, I joined as a mentor. It was now my turn. In my second year, I gave courses on uh, data structures, algorithms to the juniors, how to solve problems, uh, where from to study, stuff like that. In my third and fourth year, I wasn't that much able to give courses because I was very much preoccupied with my studies and preparing for my job interview. But during my second year, almost weekly I went and gave lectures on programming.
That's interesting. And yeah, so now I want to go, like you told me that you were good at physics. Okay, so I want to go to that experience. Okay, so describe your experience working as a physics teacher for Uttaran Institute.
Yeah, so Uttaran Institute was actually opened by one of my school teachers when she retired from my school. Initially, she was, I believe, facing issues hiring people, and there was a part-time position open. So she asked me if I was free, and of course, it was like a semester break. So of course, yeah, for 2 months, no problem. I joined, and it was basically teaching physics to students of 8th and 9th standard. So that was my job for 2 months.
That's great, bro. That's great. Okay, so I really want to tell you कि you also like did the social thing. Okay, you also contributed your knowledge to the social cause, what you learned. Okay, and that is really inspiring. Okay, so here's the thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so nobody like by just being a student you have done so much. Okay, okay, and you tend to, yeah, you focused your mind to do so. Okay, you had a lot of things to do, but you prioritized each and everything. You planned everything and you did it one by one. Okay, and that is very important to effectively manage your time, and you did a lot of activities on college, and that like signifies your, what you can say, your role towards the society as well as towards the community, what you do. Okay, so you are, whatever you are doing, you are doing it for the community, for the people to learn something, for the like the students, and you are also helping your teachers your professors were a lot into you also, because you were doing a lot of things on college, and that is really inspiring. Okay, so I would to now go to the next experience part, and I want to ask you, describe your experience working for IIT Guwahati as a summer research intern.
Yeah, so this was at the end of my second year. At the end of second year, like between 2 years, we have like around 2 to 3 months of semester break. So during the gap between my first and second year, I utilized that time to learn skills in programming. So now it was time for me, to actually apply my skills in some project. So me and one of my batchmate, both of us male professors of IIT, we sent our resumes. Along with that, these are the skills that we have worked on in the previous 2 years. We are interested in this field, and we would like to work under a project under your guidance. So we actually sent a mail to a lot of professors, and most of them were rejected. The professors were saying, yeah, that I'm full for this summer, or this summer I would not be able to take interns. But ultimately, Professor Guho of IIT Guwahati, he accepted us. So we went, I believe it was in the month of April. No, yeah, May. Yeah, from May to July, we worked as a summer research intern under his guidance. We worked on a project. The domain of the project was machine learning and audio processing. So it was utilizing data structures and machine learning algorithms to classify audio signals. So during that time,
that's interesting.
Like my senior year project, first few weeks were spent, learning the necessary theories, concepts, then starting the project, and at the end, running the experiments. If there are issues or shortcomings, why did it occur, how to solve them. So it was a very important project, because one that helped me learn a lot of programming skills, and also on project skills, how to apply, because this was pretty much the first time I applied my skills in a real world project.
That's wonderful. Thanks for sharing that experience. Okay, that's really inspiring. Okay, and like all the things which you've been doing, it would inspire the audience, help them to like get their goals straight. Okay, so if someone wants to go into all of these things, they'll be helped. Okay, and that's nice. So you also were a research assistant for Jadavpur University, and this is complete new thing which I like came up to me in the interview, because like the previous 9 episodes which I've done now, anyone like didn't have a research assistantship, and yours the one like you are having one. Okay, so I want to ask you, describe your experience as a undergraduate research assistant for Jadavpur University.
So this post is actually tied with my senior year project. So for my last final year of study, I worked under my professor on my project. So since it was a collaborative effort, we were actually a lot of the time discussing how to work, taking part in meetings with our professors, discussing what project we would like to work on, how the project would be approached, where we are going to apply it as a paper. So this final year, since we have been working with the professor, me and my batchmate, in the lab, so we were the research assistant for the professor and his PhD student.
Okay, so yeah, so that's some of the things you have done. Okay, so far the interview is really inspiring. Okay, it's quite fascinating what things you have done. Okay, which you have shared with our audience, and each and every thing which you have shared is valuable. Okay, it would help some people or the another. Okay, that's nice. Okay, so now I would like to jump to the main part of the interview. I want to ask you about your Samsung experience. Okay, so now it is going to be really interesting. I am also waiting for it, and so is the audience. Okay, so they are also waiting to know more about the Samsung experience. So yeah, let's start. Okay, so how did you get this internship opportunity?
So I got this opportunity through my college. In my university, we have placement sessions around the month of, starting from the end of August. Companies come to our campus. They hold interviews, tests, and based on that, they choose both full-time employees and interns. So Samsung came. I applied for their internship position, went through their tests and interviews, and that's how I was chosen.
That's wonderful. Okay, so now I want to ask you, did you ever thought of getting into Samsung?
Yeah, whenever when I joined Jadavpur University, and as I was researching, my future prospects, jobs, what companies come in the placements, I saw that Samsung, was a regular in the placement, and they take a lot of students. So, and growing up, like I said, since 2010, I saw the electronics industry boom and the Samsung boom, I would rather say, where almost every electronic is made by Samsung, and everyone in every household there is some electronics that has been made by Samsung. So this really inspired me, as I was researching the history of Samsung from humble beginnings to like a global powerhouse, like how they managed to do this. So it inspired me, and I was really keen to work for such a reputed institution and give my skills and whether I would be helpful to them.
That's wonderful. Okay, so you really had that passion to get into something. Okay, so yeah, that's really nice. So one must like, just like you said, you planned your future prospects. Okay, your future companies, your goals, your aspirations. You also, so one must do that. And when did you do this? Like, when did you set these aspirations to get into Samsung? Like, in which year?
So I would say second year. That's when I started preparing, started building my portfolio, my resume. That's when I started focusing.
So
And
one should start in, yeah. So I want to ask, one should start in second year if he wants to get into a good company. He needs to start in second year, planning the prospect, yeah, measuring each and everything, how to plan and everything. So all the plan which he needs to make, he should start in the second year. It's what's your opinion on that?
I believe second year is the right option because first year it's very transitional where you are transitioning from your school to university, a lot of new concepts you're learning, but by second year you are very much stable. You understand your domain, you understand your future prospects, industry trends. So you should have a good idea of how to build your skills. You A very good option is to if X is my domain of interest, you should go online, see what are the current industry trends of X and what skills people are looking for in order to work in this domain and develop yourself. And yeah, I would say second year is a good time to start building.
That's great, and thanks for that advice. Okay, that's nice. Okay, so now I want to ask you, like before, like getting the opportunity, when you know that Samsung is in your college on your campus. Okay, so now I want to ask you, how was your interview experience? Can you share with the audience your rounds and everything,
Yeah.
all the details? Everything.
So it was a three-step process. The first was an online test round. Uh, sorry, it was basically a MCQ-based test, which tested our skills on analog, digital, and computer programming. All of these concepts, uh, proper MCQ, and it had a hard cutoff. Anyone who scored above such and such marks were automatically qualified to the next round. The next were basically two rounds, one technical interview. Uh, so in the technical interview, first you are supposed to introduce yourself, your interests. So, like I said, my interests lay with computer systems, programming, and digital systems. So, in the technical interview, I was asked questions based on my knowledge of digital circuits. I would say it was not very tough, but you have to have your basic fundamental knowledge very clear, okay, because that's ultimately what matters in the long run. You might learn a new tool, a new programming language, but your foundation skills must be very strong. Otherwise, it's merely learning a new tool won't help. Okay, so the interviewer asked me to design digital circuits like a counter, using concepts of milli machine, Moore machine, designing a system. Okay, and finally, after a lot of technical questions based on my subject, we had one question which was a puzzle. So, puzzle round. I'm not exactly sure why people ask puzzle round, but I've asked some of my seniors. What seems to be the general consensus is that, see, a puzzle, it's like you cannot be 100%. You might be 100% prepared in your subject, right? So you might be very confident that whatever concept you are asked, you know, and you would be able to answer satisfactorily. But for puzzles, it's very likely that you may not know the answer to a puzzle. So what I believe is that many companies ask puzzles. It's to judge how a student applies his out of the box thinking, his analytical skills in a new problem scenario. And once, so this was basically the technical interview part. Once this was over, we had an HR interview where we were asked about our previous experiences, why is our interest in this domain, why we want to work for the company, etc.
Okay, so that was the whole interview process, okay, which you went through. And you got selected for the interview and you were an intern for 3 months, I guess. Yeah? Am I right? You interned with Samsung for 3 months.
2 months actually, from May to July.
Okay, May to July. That's great. Okay,
yeah,
so
LinkedIn treats it's like 3 months. I know it's
so
confusing
that's
for
the
me.
reason why, yeah, it's confusing for me. Yeah. So that's nice. Okay, so now I want to jump to the internship experience. Okay, so firstly, I want to ask you, like, if you were given to describe your whole internship experience in one word, what would it be?
I would say awesome, because
okay, that's great.
Like I
yeah. For you, it was awesome. Okay, that's nice. So now I want to ask you, you want to describe the overall internship experience right now.
Yeah, so I interned for 2 months, and it was a marvelous experience, because just like from school to university, it's a jump, right? From your academic to job, it's another jump. Okay, you have to learn a lot of new, interesting concepts about real life scenarios, how you're going to apply your knowledge to solve real life scenario problems. And a lot of the time you have to have an out of the box thinking, because unlike academics, there is no like fixed syllabus, right? You can face a problem which has never been faced before. So how are you going to solve that problem is hugely important. And apart from that, my internship experience, it was in Bangalore. It's a great city. I love Bangalore city. Traffic is not that good, I would say, but as a city, Bangalore is really nice. And I got to know so many people at the top of the industry experience. Got to learn so many new things from them. So that's pretty much it.
Amazing. Yeah, that's amazing. So just like you mentioned, you had an awesome experience working with Samsung for 2 months. Even if it was 2 months, you enjoyed the entire 2 months. Okay, so in that 2 months, you learned things which were not in your academics, but that was something new. Okay, so you got to learn something new. You got to work on some technologies which were new for you. Okay, initially you struggled, but you had your team, your mentor, your managers to help you, to guide you to complete that task. Okay, so
Exactly.
that's really great. And Samsung as a company is really nice. I also personally love Samsung. Okay, so I also had a encounter with Samsung devices. I was using Samsung E7. Okay, so Samsung Guru was a phone which I started with. So I had also background with Samsung, and I know Samsung personally, and I also love that company. Okay, and these guys are doing a great job. They are what you can say, they are launching models every year. Okay, they are launching new series every year, be it E series, be it A series. Okay, so it's really nice. Okay, and I'm glad that you got into such a company, and it is really a good company to start your career with.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, that's nice. Okay, so like coming to the LinkedIn profile, you had a very good LinkedIn profile. Okay, so you had a lot of experiences. You have structured it well. You have a nice bio. So all the things are really great. Okay, so I want to ask you how to build a strong profile to get internship opportunities in college.
Yeah.
LinkedIn profile is one thing. You need to have a good LinkedIn profile. But apart from that, what one must need to do? So yeah, continue.
Yeah. So first of all, I would say networking. Okay, be it LinkedIn, be it your college, university seniors, or through taking part in conferences, events, etc. Networking is very important. Okay, the more connections you have, even if let's say a company doesn't visit your campus, if you have a very strong network, you might get even better, opportunities. So as long as you have a your goal must be to build a very strong network. Okay, that should be your top priority. Okay, like be extrovert. Okay, I know some people tend to get introvert while meeting new people, or they like hesitate in initiating conversation with new people, but that is a huge hindrance when if you are trying to build a network. Okay, you really have to take the initiative to connect with people. I'm not saying that spam people with messages, that's very wrong, but just if you are interested in a certain domain, find if like the top industry people who are working in that domain, see if they are working on LinkedIn, follow them or send them a connect request, interact with them through their blog posts or Twitter. Like through social media, like the world is at your hand, right? So like 7 billion people is your network. So once you have a good network, you would be able to leverage them to get new opportunities. You can get news about new opportunities from your network. So networking, I would say, is very important. Secondly, I have said this before, learn skills. I see a lot of people showing skills that they have learned, but apart from more important than learning skills, showcase your skills as a sort of a applied small project. That actually shows a much better enthusiasm from your side that yes, I have learned this skill and I have used this skill to solve a real world problem. Okay, so working on project is very important. So these two are pretty much the main things that you have to focus on building in your university life if you want to strengthen your profile. And one thing I would also say is that focus also on your GPA. Okay, I know a lot of people have mixed consensus on this, but your GPA is pretty much the first thing that a recruiter sees. So if it is like too low, I won't say that they will cancel you, but it sends a like bad impression. Okay, it doesn't have to be like huge, but it has to be good, I would say. So also focus on your GPA. Extracurriculars, your online courses are important, but if please do not like neglect your core university courses.
Yeah, that's great.
So these I would say are the most important.
Thanks for sharing that. And what's your like? This was all about the like in college experience, like community contribution, all those things you need to do in college. Just like you mentioned, extracurricular activities. So these are the things you should do. Okay, but what's your take on like working on a startup or maybe developing a product? Okay, so what's your take on that? One should also do that in college. Is it feasible for one to do it?
I would say for startup, yes, of course, it's like highly appreciated if you have a groundbreaking idea, work for it. For me, see, I come from a normal family, so for me, securing my future is very important. Startup, although it's a very good initiative, it's not like uh, 100% secure, right? Your idea may receive funding, may not receive funding. It might start very good, but then something might happen. So there are a lot of insecurities. So it wasn't for me. I know many of my friends were interested in startup, and uh, there were many competitions, hackathons arranged for startups for presenting ideas, but I did not take part in the startup culture because I realized that it was not my cup of tea.
That's nice. Okay, so that was a general question I asked you because yeah, so like just like I mentioned, like all these experiences are just the things you need. Okay, but apart from like that, out of the way, if you want to go into startup field, okay, if you want to explore entrepreneurship, okay, that is also a good field to explore. I know it has a lot of risk. Okay, there is no what you can say. Sometimes you are like in a good state, and in sometimes it collapses. Okay, so those are the things you must be prepared for. Okay, and that's what makes you like a budding entrepreneur or a daring entrepreneur. Okay, so one must do that, and there are a lot of entrepreneurs also who are like young entrepreneurs. I'm also a young entrepreneur. I'm also doing a lot of things which
Like
like I
you are
yeah.
much better than me. Like I'm very much, whenever I do something, it's very like risk associated. So I rarely like take up challenges. So I
But
take up the
Arpan,
least
yeah.
risky option.
Yeah, but what I am suggesting is what you are doing right now. That's really inspiring. Okay, and you need not to become an entrepreneur for doing good things. You are actually doing good things. You are helping the society. You are helping the community. Basically, you are helping your fellow juniors. You are guiding them on the right path, and that is a really good thing. And that is enough. Okay, it's what I feel. You need not to do anything like else apart from this. You are actually doing a lot of things. The audience, like the people who are watching the video up till now, will get inspired by all of these things you said. Okay, on camera, on in this interview you shared with me, and that's motivating. Okay, so now I want to go to the PPO question. Okay, so what skills did you possess which help you overcome that internship opportunity into a PPO?
So the PPO interview was very similar to the internship interview. At the end of our internship, we had similar technical and HR interviews. Uh, in technical, it was the same as your basic concepts of digital circuits, digital systems, which will be asked. And also your project will be asked, the work that you did as an intern in the company. And by that time, at the end of third year, that's when the internship was completed. uh, I also had learned a lot of skills like VLSI. So questions will also be asked on VLSI because VLSI is the you know in the most important part of the semiconductor industry. So so once the technical interview is completed, it's a similar HR interview where they ask about your skills, your university, your school, your skills on what you worked on, and if you are selected, then you're given a PPO as a full time.
Okay, so I want to go to the next question. Okay, I want to ask you, and that is the last question. After that, we wrap up with this interview thing. Okay, so I want to ask you, do you want to give some tips or advices to the future aspirants who are looking to crack your role at Samsung?
So I would say, first of all, uh, be very confident with your basics, analog, digital, and VLSI. Okay, you have to be very, very, very confident in this subject. Okay, these are your cornerstones and foundation blocks of the rest of your career if you go into the semiconductor industry. So if you want, you have to focus on this subject. And apart from this, I would also say focus on programming because what as in semiconductor industry, a lot of the time you might have to automate your tasks, read log files. So if you can do your tasks, and this is not just for semiconductor, if you can do your tasks more efficiently, you are always going to be revered as a much better employee for any organization. So I would say, the generic: work hard, work on your basics, make sure your fundamentals are strong, and work on project, work on get an internship, network.
That's great, and that is some really good piece of advice. Okay, and it would really help the audience. Okay, and that is one must should do. Okay, that is pretty much it. Okay, and with this, I would like to end the interview, and I want to personally thank you. A big thanks to you for coming here, talking about your college life, your journey, sharing your experiences with our audience, which would really help them. This talk we had, it was really amazing. I had an amazing time chatting about what you have done. Okay, and that's really inspiring, motivating. What can I say? It's really nice. Okay, and thank you so much.
Thank you as well. I really appreciate your initiative. Like for juniors and upcoming people in engineering, this initiative is going to be really helpful. To understand how to prepare for industry-related jobs, and to have anyone like just coming into the engineering domain, work hard, have fun. Like the world is at your hands, and your imagination is your limit. So work
That's
hard,
great.
have fun, and
Yeah,
stay safe. Like right now, that's the most important thing. Stay safe.
yeah,
At
exactly.
least until
Yeah.
medicine and vaccine comes. Stay safe.
Yeah, and I also want to wish you luck for your future endeavors, your career at Samsung, and whichever company you go to. Okay, so you have a good profile, you have good basic experience. Okay, so you have that wisdom basically, you have a clear vision, you know what you want to do in life, and you will succeed in life definitely. And with doing all those good things in life, you will also get those plus points, and one day you will be successful. I must, yeah, and
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you, Omkar.
Yeah. So now I want to ask you, do you want to give some words of motivation to our audience? Like
Uh,
Samsung is a good company. Yeah, Samsung is a good company. Like it is one of the Fortune 500 companies, and you made it to Samsung. So what motivation do you want to give?
Actually, as part of a motivation, I would like to say just one thing. In today's world, it's like competition is everywhere, right? And people deal with a lot of anxiety, and I have seen some of my friends become very tensed, very anxious, even depressed when results or interviews don't go according to plan. And that's normal, right? When there's this much pressure in today's job market. So and I can only imagine, based on the pandemic, that the competition is going to increase. So first and foremost, I would have to say that please focus on your mental health. It's not something many people discuss right now, but if your mental health falters, everything is just going to be haywire. So if you feel like everything is very stressful, you are unable to cope with the stress, please talk with somebody, talk with your family, talk with some counselor. There are many online resources which are available. So please look after your mental health. It's a very important thing in today's world. So as part of my motivation, yeah, I'm like very passionate about this, about mental health, because many a times I see like destructive practices people do just uh, fear to get to achieve a goal which ultimately harms them, because their mental health began to falter at the end.
Yeah, so I really appreciate that motivation, like that advice you gave. Okay, so it would really help the people, like especially if you take engineering, there are a lot of people in engineering who are in depression. Okay, who are in that, what you can say, fear of like failing. Okay, so there are a lot of people, there are like that is not because of their problems. I maybe that maybe may have the like family problems as well. Like it could be anything. Okay, it could be anything, but if the mental health is not straight, how that person would be like in the state to achieve something in life, because he's actually not into the state, he's or not thinking positive, he's thinking as if he's surrounded by problems. Okay, and that should not happen. Okay, one must relax. Okay, one must think of a solution to get out of that problem, and after you get it out, you always have to think positive, because everything is going to be good in life. Okay, whether the what you can say, the situations are tough, times are tough, even if they are laid off, there is something or the other which they can do. Okay, which can help them, which can help them financially, which can support them. And it is very important to think of a solution even in crisis. And that's a great advice. That is a good piece of motivation, and I really appreciate that, Arpan. Thanks for sharing that. Okay, and with this, I would like to end the video. Okay, if you are watching the video up till now, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, also reach out to Arpan. I'll mention the links to his social handles in the description box below, so do check it out. Do reach out to him if you have any questions about like getting into Samsung, if you need any coding assistance, if you need any help, he's there to help you. So please reach out to him if you have any questions after watching this video. Okay, and that's it for today, guys. I'll see you guys in the next episode of interview series with another person from the industry who is there to inspire you. Until then, keep learning, keep inspiring, keep growing. Thank you.